Friends, it's another day in Lima, and that means it's another day where I have the opportunity to eat. So normally I chow down and eat most of my Peruvian food in Miraflores, where we're typically based. But today is a special day because I am here in Barranco, maybe the most colorful, artful, and bohemian neighborhood here in Lima, where I'm gonna get a chance to go on another food tour and eat tons of delicious Peruvian food, and also get to walk around and experience the colonial charm, all of the unique colors that are here, the street art, and just what makes this place such a charming and up-and-coming neighborhood. It's got tons going on. It has fantastic restaurants, so I can't wait to see what I get up to today. Friends, I gotta walk up the steps to earn that meal.
Some tropical fruits, so I want to know if you recognize some of those.
So we've kicked off the food tour by trying classic Peruvian fruits. Probably my favorite thing to do when I'm in Peru. We had chirimoya, which I absolutely love. We had 2 different kinds of passion fruit, and we also had gooseberries. Not to mention 3 types of chocolate. So really fun way to kick things off on a sweet note. And now we're walking again. No idea what's next. So for breakfast, guys, we went to Nueva, where we kicked things off with Peruvian coffee. It was fascinating because we got to learn about the roasting procedure, light, medium, and dark roasts. I love Peruvian coffee, but the star of the show was actually the empanadas, chicken and corn empanadas. So tasty. The best part was the buttery exterior. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I mean, you know I love my empanada. If you've been watching our channel, you know how much I love empanadas from our time in Argentina. But these were right up there. When you come to Lima, you definitely have to try Peruvian empanadas. They're different than Argentine ones.
10-10.
All right, friends, so we've been walking around for a little while and we have arrived at this beautiful property called Ayahuasca. This used to be a colonial home, has now been turned into a restaurant/bar. So we're coming here to try 2 main dishes. We're coming here to try lomo saltado and also anticuchos for lunch. Guys, that cooking demonstration was absolutely insane. It was so cool to see how the lomo saltado especially was prepared. That is called the jumping loin. And what's fascinating about that is just how the flame basically touches up to the ceiling. I was joking around. It's like, if the flame isn't touching the ceiling, you're not trying hard enough. But that's a Peruvian Chinese dish that is really tasty and definitely worth trying if you come to Lima. So you have your lomo, which is your beef loin, and then it typically comes with peppers, onions, and a really nice soy sauce. It's served with rice and fries. So that's what's going to be for lunch. And the anticuchos was also prepared in front of us as well, which of course is the cow's heart. Now, I know that's not going to sound appealing to a lot of people, but guys, trust me, kind of keep an open mind about this. The texture on the outside is a little bit like a liver, but it honestly tastes like a really nice cut of beef, to be perfectly honest. It's tender, it's flavorful. It's usually served on a skewer. It's typically Peruvian street food, but we're having it here for lunch as a main. Now, the one thing that I don't love in Peru, and I maybe never shared this, is Inca Cola. It's just a little bit too sweet for me. That's also what we had for lunch. Tastes kind of like having bubblegum soda. I think if I was 10 years old, I'd like it a bit more. But that's the one thing in Peru that I don't love. But overall, it was so cool to come here. This is a beautiful building. And guys, if you have a chance to come and try lomo saltado and also anticuchos here in Lima, you definitely need to do so. One other little funny quirk I should mention about Barranco is that there's a place, a tourist attraction called the Bridge of Sighs. What you're supposed to do is hold your breath as you go across the bridge and make a wish. Now, it's a little bit of a longer bridge, so everyone in our group tried that. I was able to do it, a couple others weren't. But it's a decent gauge of your level of fitness, but it's also kind of a funny little quirky thing you can do here to make a wish and to create a memory here in this neighborhood. So what you could say was our second lunch we had at a place called Republica del Pisco. Now you think we may have got a pisco there, but no. This place actually specializes in seafood and specifically ceviche. But before we had ceviche and before we were shown how to make ceviche, which is also a really interesting experience, we started off with a colorful welcome drink and also causa, an appetizer I highly recommend you try in Peru. It's basically yellow potatoes and then typically topped with fish. One of the ones I had was with tuna. That was my favorite one. And then we had a demonstration of how ceviche is made. And guys, if there's one dish that I could eat in Lima day after day after day, it is ceviche. It's my absolute favorite Peruvian dish and the one that I recommend the most to try if you're here in Lima or anywhere else in Peru.
And the ice, guys, is a technique that he used to keep the fish fresh and also to don't overcook, guys, the fish. Lettuce, corn, 2 presentations. So it's done. That is the whole preparation, guys. So claps for Claudio. A little bit Japanese. That is the reason why we eat it.
That's what we had at we had lunch on it.
And guys, any food tour in Lima is not complete without the national drink, the Pisco Sour. So for that, we headed off to the oldest bar here in Barranco called Juanito, which means Little Juan. And this is a 3rd generation drinking watering hole / tavern that's been around since 1937. And what was so cool was that it was actually the grandson who made the Pisco Sours for us. He's the one who showed everyone else on the tour exactly how the drink was made. And what a process it is.
Because the pisco is a denomination of origin, like the champagne or the tequila, guys. We just can prepare pisco if you grow your grapes, guys, in those areas. The 5 regions are Lima, Ica, Moquegua, Arequipa, and Tacna. Just those regions can grow the grapes for the pisco. For the pisco sour, we always use, guys, the black grapes. In this case, we have the Negra Criolla, was the first grape that arrived here with the Spaniards.
In case you're interested to make it at home, it's Pisco, which is the grape brandy that is most popular here in Lima. It also includes a syrup, a lemon, and finally egg white. And you shake that until with some ice.
And one ice cube, guys. That is the way how they prepare pisco sour here. And the ice, for him, works like a timer. When the ice is completely melted, stop making the sound, it's because the foam is done. Wow. It's the way how he knows when the foam is done in the pisco sour.
That's when you know it's done. It's all frothy. And then you pour it into the glass and add bitter. Now, what was interesting about that in particular at this restaurant was the grandson had some artistic talent, so he was making all kinds of different artwork with the drinks, and I thought that was a really unique touch that he added. And we finished things off in Blue del Gelato El Barrio. Now they had a whole bunch of different artisanal ice creams that you could choose from, but I went for 2 local flavors. Lucuma, tied for my favorite fruit in Peru, which is tied with chirimoya, by the way. And then another flavor called Menta y Muña, which is Peruvian mint and chocolate. So if you're looking to try local flavors, go for those 2. There was also maracuya, which is passion fruit that you could try, but I would recommend those 2. So friends, something to consider here if you're walking around in the Barranco neighborhood, Barranco barrio, is that if you do end up getting lost, just come back to the central area here. There's a market square, and what you have here, you have a yellow cathedral, you also have a biblioteca, and you have a water fountain and a few other landmarks. So if you lose yourself in this colorful neighborhood, just come back here and you can reorientate yourself. It's the best place to grab your bearings. So guys, as I like to say, after a full day of feasting, all good things come to an end, unfortunately. And when it comes to eating Peruvian food, that's a little bit of a sad situation, because I think it's one of the world's greatest cuisines, and there's no place better to try it than here in Lima. What was interesting about this particular food tour was that it was located in a neighborhood where we don't typically stay. Audrey and I typically stay in Miraflores because Audrey has relatives there, but we decided to put me on a food tour here in Barranco. It's a completely different vibe over here. It's a lot quieter. I'm here on a weekday, not a weekend, when it's typically busier. And what was nice about this is just the actual walking tour component. It was completely different from Miraflores. A little more relaxed, a little more chill, not quite as busy, not quite as hectic, a little more charming, I would say, as well. So that was one of the coolest parts about this tour. Also, I just thought it was a really well done tour. We got to try all of the classic Peruvian foods that you would want to eat when you're in Lima. There was, of course, ceviche, there was lomo saltado, and there was pisco sour. And what was especially unique about this tour was that they showed you how to make all of these dishes. So not only did you get to try it, but you got a sense of how it's made. So when you go back home to your home country, you can consider trying it yourself. And that's what I thought was the most interesting thing about the tour. It was a nice mix of people from all over the world. We had Australians, Americans, and a couple from Finland as well. So yeah, that was a really fun day. I'm really happy I came on this tour, and I would highly recommend you do so as well. So if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also consider subscribing to our channel. We'll have more videos, especially food videos here from Lima, Peru. And if you guys want to join this tour, we're going to pin a comment, and that means you can just do a quick click, and that will allow you to book this tour and do exactly what I did today. So hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.